Thank you. Okay, meeting minutes.
I found them correct as saw them, so unless anybody's got anything else, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
EJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yep.
Okay, we have a guest, a resident that requested to be on the agenda tonight, and it's the aforementioned Sherry Bailey.
Thank you. So, I'm here on behalf of others, and actually many others, my email is so we can get on the agenda. My name is Sherry Bailey. We're in Taylor May. We have Auburn Acres Hot Farm. And Morris is with us also, and he's going to be talking a little bit about the Arts District as well, because I came into some of these conversations late. And then I have Dean and Belinda, Century Messenger Farm. So I think maybe I'll defer to Morris. Do you want to just talk about the Arts District and how that started, and then we can all kind of chime in on our part. But essentially, we decided to create a community event, and we were kind of talking and meeting, and we're like, we really should come to a trustee meeting, because we're kind of planning something that you guys need to know about. So why don't you talk about maybe how the Arts District came about?
So, we started the Arts District to like advertise for all the local businesses that are coming here in Auburn, and kind of the goal when we got things started is, I think Auburn, like with everything that's been happening here over the past couple of years right now, it's got a lot of potential to become like a destination and almost like a tourist attraction isn't maybe the right word, but kind of the same way people think about Chagrin Falls, they go to visit and there's so much to do and so much to see there. It's really starting to become that for Auburn as well. So we just wanted to, I've lived here, I moved here since I was 4 and I'm 25 now, so like 21 years I've been living here, and until I started, got things rolling with starting this Auburn Arts District Committee with Gina Iannero, I didn't even know about like half of like all of these really cool like farms and different businesses that existed around here. So it's been kind of like an enlightening, like awakening thing for myself too. And so we've all gotten together for this community festival where we're all gonna have different things, like different events and festivities going on. We have like 3 different farms doing farm tours every hour for the Century Farm Tours. We have like different vendors, like artisanal vendors, and then of course like the live music that's usually happening at the breweries and at our bar hops. All coordinating it on that day. So the goal is hopefully that weekend get people to, kind of hop around each spot throughout the day, and then come and end it in their evening, Friday or Saturday night, over at any of the local like breweries or bars. So I've been trying to reach out to Auburn Inn as well about it too, and then the patio. But right now we have over a dozen businesses already participating in this festival alone. So
the idea was really just what he said, is kind of come together as community activities and events, and then try and do some promotion to get people to come to Auburn Township. I like to say, we planted hops in 2016, and there's 4 breweries in Auburn Township now. Like, that's really cool. They've all bought hops from us, which is absolutely
We've become
wonderful.
the beer capital of.
I know, we have the beer capital of John County. We are right now, because there's only 4 breweries in John County.
3 of them are
I'm
here.
sorry, 5 of them. 3 of them are here. So we came up with this idea to do it September 8th, 9th, and 10th, not realizing that there's an Auburn community picnic on a different weekend, but then we would have been a little bit of competition with it. So Amy's good. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So part of this is a barn tour, and as we look at it, we're very young as an organization, and it is really we've just started in February and putting everything together, and bringing all of the businesses together. And part of this weekend of this Auburn Community Festival is a barn tour that all of us who are a part of some of the original farms from our community that built our community are going to present our barns and show how the history of Auburn has started and promote us through there. And then we hope to promote our businesses that have come, like the restaurants and the breweries and the local shops, so that, you know, people, as Maura said, people start to see Auburn as a destination to come and enjoy, not only for shopping and eating and drinking, but maybe as a little history and coming and enjoying the farms, the new modern farm, like coming to go and, you know, enjoy learning about hops and an entertainment center. Peg Button's farm is, you know, she opens it up to an art festival or a crafting festival every June. We open up our farm to maple syrup and blueberries, and so bringing people in to show them how wonderful that, you know, the Auburn community is, then, you know, what little unique and the uniqueness that we have here.
So really we're kind of divided into three different groups. One is stores and shopping kind of things. Then we have the restaurants and the breweries and the bars, and then we have the farms. And so the farms, the flyer we gave you, the farms, we put together a flyer just for those events. And then Gianna Ionero also put together a sign that we're going to put in front of the businesses or farms for those that are participating. We also have information on the Auburn Arts District website. And we wanted to just share that with all of you and invite you all to come and tell you all about it, because it's just really happened quickly. So.
And we hope that going forward, that maybe, you know, in our future planning, that maybe during the community event that's happening the following weekend, maybe in the future, we can all work together to maybe bring that as a big community festival.
Did you ever think of having a table or something at our community picnic, of letting the other residents in Auburn knowing who you are and what you're about?
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
She has, I think, flyers for that.
For the picnic, because, yeah, I would definitely
Yeah.
have to grab a flyer for that.
So
Yeah,
my first thought was, when you started this Auburn district, Arts District, it was the glass blowing place, and then Hoff's,
Yeah.
but now, so what you're saying now, this is going to encompass your farms,
Yeah.
and everybody's coming together.
The-
Are you hitting all the businesses in Auburn
So
Township?
I want to make sure that every business is invited in. So and I don't know every business owner personally, although I've come to know a lot of them personally now. But so that's why I ended up reaching out to Gina, because very originally when we first, like, my dad was the one who came up with the name Auburn Arts District, and at first he was thinking of just coining that as like the little corner with like
Right.
Austin the Glass Studio. But then, like, as I was thinking about it, like, I mean, I started working at 8th Day and became really good friends with Matt and Danny, and brewery is its own art form, growing hops, growing blueberries, gardening. I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch, of course. Like, when you think of art, I guess you think of, like, paint on a canvas, but a lot of things that we do in our everyday life, and especially all these businesses, it's an art form. And so that's why we started the website, to advertise all the businesses that are a part of it and that we think are doing really cool, creative, and artistic things. And but I don't want to exclude anybody out, which is why, and we've had a lot of people that like other business members in Auburn who are on the team now, who just heard about that we were starting it and reached out and wanted to be a part of it. So we're open to any business in Auburn. That's the only limitation. It's just got to be in Auburn. And with the website, which Gina made and has done a wonderful job with, and we're continuing to improve that website. I'd also like to, because right now we have pages on every business there, and so you can get a brief on the auburnartsdistrict.com. You get a brief bio of each business, and then it leads to like their website, and we want to work on a calendar that has like events and sales and promotions of every business. But I'd also really like to doing the art festivals, like the one we just had this weekend at Hoff's. There's so many amazing artists, like local artists that live here. And I feel like Auburn is like it's like I don't know if you guys, I know that like this guy Ed, who comes to the bar a lot, lives just right down by Ladue. He did artwork for Fleetwood Mac's like album cover, and his neighbor was like a dancer growing up. I feel like Auburn is a place where like artists come and for like solace and practicing their craft. So I'd love to open the website up to even just individuals as well who are making things in the community. But yeah, I just really want to draw attention to the cool things going on here.
I'd agree, you got something going on down there in the first quarter, like festivals for sure. And Ioneros did
The Sunflower Festival, which has,
Packed.
it's so packed for that show.
there were flyers, somebody did a lot of work, because there were flyers all over the county.
Yeah,
Gina.
yeah.
Gina,
all over.
Gina did it, yeah.
Gina couldn't make it tonight, but I'm gonna call her after this to run down the meeting. Like, I mean, we've all been putting in a lot of work, but I definitely would just wanna say it on her behalf. Gina's been.
And the other thing I want to make sure I mention too is we're not coming into this cold, because your dad
Yeah,
kind of described what you're doing now 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah.
This has been something, and Jason Wine's been a big contributor. We love having him in the township. My kids,
Well, yeah,
20
they-
years ago, my kids were helping him unload, pick up stuff down here at the
Yeah.
corner, so. He's been a great neighbor and a real contributor to the township. And, he's kept us posted. This is nothing that's out of the blue.
Yeah.
But,
Cool.
we appreciate it.
I didn't realize I mean, I know he's got so many creative ideas. I didn't realize that long ago he was even like thinking on that regard. We kind of because I just started kind of like brainstorming stuff with him, just with our business, and then with this like a year or two ago, or like a year and a half ago now, since I really jumped on board with working with my family in their business and like getting the office going. And then, yeah, speaking to David, David's been awesome to have an office, just total
Yeah,
side
full
note off of
disclosure,
this.
my kids working.
Yeah.
Well, we were really excited to come here because we wanted to make sure that, you knew about it and that hopefully, you can help us spread the word. And myself personally, I really enjoyed getting to meet everyone from all the different businesses and the different types of businesses. And it's kind of nice and fun, and, it's nice to learn more of your neighbors, I guess, so.
Are you a bona fide organization?
So-
Are you
Not
registered?
That's the
yet.
thing,
Not yet.
so, and that's part of why I wanted to come to the meeting tonight, because right now, the only people in this committee are business owners, but, it's something, like, we haven't, like, instituted, like, any kind of, like, constitution or anything like that yet, but at least for me, personally moving forward, and I think you guys would agree, like, I would really like it for, like, so, like, when we get to the point where we're having, like, a president, vice president, chair, like, secretary, treasurer, those kind of things, I would really love for that to be people, those roles to be held by people that are not actually, like, directly involved in any of the businesses, but just people within the community. And then, like, they were mentioning where we had kind of split this into sections with, like, the shops and boutiques, and then the restaurants and nightlife, and then the farms, having representatives for those sections that have people from the business, any of those groups of businesses then elected to represent, so that way in the future when we're having our meetings, we have people who are part of the community and people from the different businesses to represent their business.
Bainbridge had, again, it was an outside group, it was basically called the Auburn Bainbridge Business Council.
Yeah,
And so you're looking at the same type of thing, just
yeah,
an independent organization that, and again, it could be, in this case, specific businesses, or you pretty much open it up to any business once you do
Yes.
something like that.
yeah, I would like to, I really don't want it to feel like cliquey or anything, like, so that's the other reason of bringing awareness to it, like, I think we've reached out to, like, almost every business in Auburn, between all of us, because we all.
Have you hit Louise Nowicki at Morning Song Garden?
So see, you know what, so, no, but that's my point.
Louise is one of the largest
Or
organizations in Auburn.
I know we
What she
hit
does.
up like Auburn Point, and then she is with them.
No, she's not.
Oh, no, not Louise.
She's
Yeah,
on
you're
staff for-
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I
But,
think the
but this is part of the, that's
Yeah.
a major part of the reason we're here is.
Yeah, well, I think,
You know
wanna make sure-
Louise, don't you? Yeah.
What you're doing up there is great. I was there Saturday, Friday night
Oh,
and Saturday during the day.
But I think
Cool.
she
My
would
dog and I
call
just
that.
passed through to see how many people were there.
Awesome.
David served us, so, and him working, so.
And that would be great if you
Yeah.
have businesses too that we don't
Right,
know
right.
of.
Exactly.
Did anybody contact the largest beekeeping operation in Auburn Township?
I
at all?
know.
Which
Does anybody know who that is?
I don't know.
I don't know, they use this honey to make the beer down at 8 Day Brewing, Brown.
So I
Yes,
know,
they do.
because I know the honey distributors, one we're working with is
Mostar.
Is Mostar we're working with.
Excellent people, I know them
they-
very well, and they're good,
they're-
and I'll be honest with
they're
you,
amazing.
you asked me when you first started if I would come down and do that. and because I'm a trustee,
Mhm.
and because there may be zoning issues I may have to rule on down there, I
Right.
decided to keep that,
That's
myself
totally fair.
separated from that.
Well, and-
But I like your concept,
Yeah.
I'd like to be a part of it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to
Mhm.
do things that might have a conflict of interest.
And I really respect that. I think that's so important in life in general, especially when you're doing like committees and things like that. And that's why it's important to me. I mean, for now, getting this started, we're working with what we got, and it's important for all the business to get together to really get it going. But that's why in the future, I'd really like for the more major roles and positions to be people that are like, you know, like for that exact reason, like, because I think people, like people in the Auburn community, just people I know that come to my bar regularly, 8th Day regularly, Bum and Beaver regularly, like they're like throughout their weekend they're hitting up all these spots, and they would love to be a part, if that door was open to them to be part of an organization planning these community
Okay,
events.
separate from the organization, I want
Yeah.
to run something past you while you're
For
here. Okay, so the Auburn Arts District,
Mhm.
generally speaking, a district is a specific area,
Right.
and it is designated by the political entity.
Okay.
For example, the theater district in Cleveland was done by Cleveland.
Yeah.
The arena district,
Mhm.
Columbus, by
Yeah.
the city of Columbus. So
Yeah.
calling it a district,
Right.
you may want to look as to whether that's really
The best.
appropriate at this point in time.
Okay.
You may want to go with an association. or
Yeah.
something.
And, you know, and secondly, and, you know, it's again, as you were, I was researching this a little bit, and as you're talking to different groups, I was thinking, okay, well, let's say we did have an Auburn Arts District, and you said, here, we want it to be this geographical area,
Mhm.
but with the way you're rolling now with all these separate entities rolling
Right.
around,
Yeah.
that probably would be impossible to do unless you're the Geauga Park District, and for some reason, they have a bunch of little parks all over the place, and
Mhm.
so I'm sure they're exempt from that somehow, but
Yeah.
but generally speaking, it's, running a
Yeah.
district is a,
Yeah.
like I said, a specific area.
You having talked to your dad back here, that was what he was calling it. He had, of course, he knows, Jason knows his way around zoning. And so he was trying to figure traffic patterns, compliance with zoning, things like that. That's where the name came from.
And again, at some point in time, if, you know,
Inspiration.
But Mike might be right, you might be more of a civic
Yeah.
organization.
Well,
but again, you know, I mean,
want
if
it to be
if it's something you want to look at in the future, you
Yeah.
know, and you come up with a plan saying it's, you know, gonna be this geographical
Mhm.
and encompass this or whatever
Yeah.
where, let's see, right now, unfortunately, as it sits right now, the
district part.
The,
is a little
the,
like-
the Auburn Arts District is basically, your dad's two properties.
Well, I think to me, it feels like right now, I feel like the way a lot of people in the township who know about it, see it, like the patrons that are hitting up all these spots regularly, I feel like they kind of, right now, see it as like from down to his two properties over to like Bum and Beaver.
Oh, yeah, it's
I feel like
definitely
it kind of like is in people's heads is that right now, and so, and I'm
And
totally
then that
happy
makes
to move away
sense,
from
but
the
then you've
district
got,
because
like-
I want to make sure we include, because like, yeah, that's where, because like from my understanding that the arts district name, calling it arts district, came from the idea of like, he had a retail store in the Los Angeles Arts District for a long time. So I know for him, it was always inspiring how like, they had that designated area where it was like all, like where it was stuff with the arts. But once we started getting it going as a civic organization, I don't want to exclude anybody, so that's how we ended up with such a broad range. So I'm totally happy with changing
Yeah,
the
because like I
name.
said, it's just something we have to keep track of, because,
Yeah.
you know, before you know it, the northeast corner becomes the restaurant district,
Yeah.
the northwest corner becomes the
And then it's
tackle
crazy,
district, and
Yeah,
I would assume that a lot of these people you're trying to track are already members of the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce.
okay.
There's a lot, you probably
That's a
could
good
get
point,
some
yeah.
information from them too.
Yeah. This is all, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this is all new realms for me.
It was put
Yeah.
together so
Well,
quickly.
Yeah, this is,
And you
And
gotta
so
remember-
unorganized. I mean, I'm
Well,
surprised
well,
it's
it's slightly,
done.
ideas
it's
are
slightly
there.
organized, but I think the ideas are strong, but yeah, we definitely need to, it's a little bit of a chaotic structure, but some structure.
It's
I mean, we've been looking for years to have some type of theme to
Yeah,
the intersection up there of,
Right.
422 and all those land.
yeah.
And nothing has ever really surfaced, so, it's definitely a definite starting point or something that has potential.
And like now I'm throwing out ideas, and I don't know if I ever even mentioned in meetings before, but like, for example, like, something that like for the rest of the meeting, I'll refer to it as the Auburn Arts Association for now, just for clarity's sake, and like, something that the association, I think, could do and help is like, we could, like, helping, like coming together, like, we could put, say, like, it's the Auburn Corners over there, is what it is officially, and I think that's great that it is that, so we could, like, I'd have to talk to my dad about it, but I'm sure he'd be happy to help, and I know, like, Nick has a ton of skills and resources too. We could like build a sign saying like, welcome to Auburn Corners, welcome to Auburn. Doing things like that to kind of like where the businesses can come together and like help decorate the area a little bit, and different ideas like that. And
Well, you got a county
see, now
right
I'm just
away
gonna-
here and a state right away over,
Yeah.
Township owns
Do
not
any of
much
you
property
trustees
there.
remember the study done by Kent
Yeah,
State?
absolutely, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, and it was a kind of a district they were hoping with little shops going down there, and it had the multi-housing behind.
It was
That was,
housing centric.
That was Fox's property, they were gonna build the shops with the houses above, the
Yes,
apartments above it.
It was, yeah.
That
Much
wasn't
more
part of the
bigger.
study, though.
No,
That-
but that's
that-
what Fox was, his
That's what
property
kicked
was
off
out
the
there.
study.
That's,
So
yeah,
it's kind of
actually,
like a little Chautauqua that they're.
We're kind of-
building.
Right.
And it was based on, the fault with that study was based on the idea that there was central water there. Which
But
there is not.
There's
Yeah.
not.
And it's not gonna be.
I want to thank you too, because your dad did put thought into this, because, you got the frontages on 44, which is a miserable road for ingress and egress. So he bought, my buddy's old place off of East Washington Extended there, with that old house.
Yeah.
And that's your main ingress egress,
Okay.
which is so much more sensible than trying to use 44.
Yeah, 'cause- and I was in there and they were actually routing us through that, that, okay, you come in
There-
off
some thought
44,
went into that,
you
yeah.
exit back over, and
Yeah.
there's, you're on the eastern section of East Washington, that, not a lot of traffic there, so,
Well,
pretty good.
It was well thought out, and I'm glad to see everything turning so
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see what's been happening here over the past few years. I mean, like growing up around here, until I got my license, it felt like it was like, and there's a beauty to this all on its own. It's just like, it's like I come home from school and it's like, okay, I could start a fire, like a bonfire, or like walk around in the woods that's back behind there, which has now become like housing developments and stuff. Because I live right back by Derbyshire, and then once I did get my license, it'd be like, oh, I would go like, I mean, we'd hang out at the Giant Eagle in Bainbridge. It was like, because that was like the hangout spot, because it was like the only thing to do. And now, obviously, I wouldn't have been able to go to breweries or bars at 16 anyway. But the fact that like now there's these things here, and I like Peggy's been doing arts in the barn for a decade, and I only learned about that 2 years ago, so, or like a year and a half ago. So there's just so many things that I've discovered with this that I feel like, just getting the word out, and then again coming to the meeting to like that, with that point of like from district to like association and other things like that. Like, we want to make it as legit as possible. So like coming to you guys for advice on those steps to like really make it happen. Because as far as I know, I don't think Auburn has any kind of like specific civic organization.
We
right
did,
now.
there were JCs,
There were
they've
JCs
all
and stuff.
fallen by the wayside over the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, if you saw the Bainbridge Women's Club just broke up, unfortunately, it seems like a lot of the younger people do not want to get involved in these kind of things.
Yeah, I
And that's
think,
hurting.
I think though, I mean, this is outside of like the committee stuff now, but I just on the point of like young people, I feel like young people like wanna, like they have this thing of like leaving where they're from so much, and that's fine too, but I feel like I wish, this is fully unrelated, but yeah, I just wish younger people would realize, it's like, you know, it's like think globally but act locally kind of thing. Like it's great to like think about whatever is happening around the rest of the country or the rest of the world, but like if you're not doing stuff right where you live, like you're not really getting involved.
Well, a lot of potential, and I'm glad to see.
We're excited about it.
Yeah.
We really are. We've met great people, and I think you're right. I think we don't know probably all of the artisans and all the other businesses, and probably having a table at the picnic would be a great idea to
Absolutely.
We'd love
express,
to do a little people there.
to
That'd be
tell
great.
people about it so we can get more people involved. I think that would be a really good idea.
This Chief Phillips over here with the fire department, I think is the clam bake that weekend?
Well, it's on the 23rd.
It's on the 23rd, okay.
And you guys are doing something at the end of August, right? Is it like a pancake breakfast or something, or did that already pass?
Usually that's in the end of March,
Or the end of March,
or
or I thought,
February, I'm sorry.
I thought I saw something happen at the end of August, but I might be mistaken.
We had the 4th of July parade,
We had the,
which had a picnic afterwards.
yeah,
Great to have a county fair.
And everybody loves that parade. They
Yeah,
just
they
think it's the best thing. They come from
Yeah,
all
it came
over.
roaring back after COVID, that was good to see,
Yes,
that was
yes.
pretty good.
And we noticed that the blueberries, when people come out, they come out from all the different areas. They love Auburn, they really do. They solicit the businesses when they come. It's just great to see that many people really like Auburn. And I feel we're very, very fortunate. We have such a gem here.
I agree.
If we can just keep Dollar General out here.
yeah, exactly. I bet, like on that note too, like I've actually had several people from like Cleveland Heights, Willoughby, like Novelty, like places that are a little bit further from here, that came, they were at the blueberry farm, and then they heard about us, because you told them about the drink, and then they were picking at the blueberry farm, and then the next weekend after they picked there, they came over and they were like, oh yeah, we heard about you guys over at Messenger, so.
I think
It's
that's
already
another
happening.
important aspect of this, of our association, or whatever we're gonna call it, is that we support each other. You know, we're buying local, so we're promoting each other by not only, you know, talking and sending people there, but we're also buying products from each, you know.
And we're
each
sharing
other.
social media, all of us are sharing.
Yeah,
sharing
I
each
was about
other's
to say, we
events.
have a website here, it's not exactly owner friendly yet, we're trying to get to the point where we can update more
Right.
rapidly.
Yeah,
But if you see Nancy up here, you probably know her.
yeah, I met Nancy, I saw Nancy.
There's room for things on there, it just
Sure.
takes a bit to get it on there.
I get
Getting
that.
the local businesses on there would be great.
Yeah.
We have so many and there's so few on there.
Yeah, we're kind of in IT transition here again. So, I'd like to think when we come out of it, we'll be pretty adept at such things, but
Yeah.
it remains to be seen.
I think it's a great organization. We do, in the Cume Family Apiary, we do about 50 to 60 shows a year.
Oh.
Sometimes we have 3 going at one time throughout Northeast Ohio. We're going every weekend doing shows. In fact, this year, we're going to be at the Jog County Fair for the very first time.
Oh,
And I think we're the first beekeeping operation out of Geauga County
Yeah.
to be at the fair this year.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
we're excited about
So,
that.
so is that, so that's, so it's your beekeeping operation?
It is.
Okay. Oh, so I see, and then that, but, well, I guess so it would be, I guess, I see your point with the conflict of interest, because but it would be great to have you on.
Well, like I said, Mostar does a great job. I'm great
Yeah.
friends with them.
Yeah.
We help each other,
That's
and
awesome.
like I said, they do a wonderful job
I
also.
haven't seen many communities like this. I've been pretty lucky getting to travel and stuff. Like, with my dad's traveled all over the country, like collecting junk and antiques. We've gone with him for that. Given my mom being from the Netherlands, I've been lucky enough to go to Europe. I've been down to like South America and stuff. I have not really, and I obviously you don't get, when you're just visiting places, you don't get as ingrained in communities as you do when you live somewhere. But yeah, I've never seen a community where where businesses are working together like this. Like, I feel like down in Chagrin Falls, it's already such a destination. When a business opens up down there, they gotta like think how to like stay ahead of the competition and like do all these things, whereas here we're all collaborating and working together. Like the fact that you have a relationship with another honey company, and it's not like, not to like throw any business under the bus or talk bad about them by any means, but I remember I was at another art show and I saw Hungry be there, and I tried to invite them to like collaborate with us, and they were like, well, she was just like, oh, we don't want to, and it wasn't a business owner, it was someone who worked for them. She was just like, oh, we won't go anywhere where like other honey people already are. So you know what I mean? It's great when you can work together, even though it's like because like it seems counterintuitive that like me and Nate and Danny from Eighth will coordinate and like calculate stuff, which like seems counterintuitive, like we should just do our own thing and try to get as many people in our doors on whatever weekend, but by like planning our events out together, like we're able to keep a steady flow of like people, so it's just all really cool. I'm really excited
And you,
about it.
and I'm assuming you want to keep this just Auburn, and what's gonna
Yes,
happen,
keep it just
if
Auburn.
you are successful,
Mhm.
people who do what you do in Bainbridge and outside the county
Yeah.
are gonna want to be a part of this.
Yes,
You
yeah.
gotta think about that too.
We did at the beginning, we decided we would like to just keep it on.
Yeah, because I feel like Bainbridge and Chagrin, I mean, they're
They're doing
kind
their own
of,
thing.
yeah, they're kind of,
Yeah.
they're doing their own thing, and they already have organizations like this, and I think I think it's important for Auburn to have
There's a
something.
vacuum here.
Yeah.
It's that we had community club folded up in the mid-late nineties, the
Garden
JC. Huh?
Garden Club?
Garden Club, the JCs were active into the, I think probably the late eighties. But that's the trend nationwide, is, you know, so
Right.
Well, and I
organizations
think
get
we're
it.
all very proud to be in Auburn Township.
So this is great to start up, yeah.
I'm saying this for myself, but, you know, we love where we live, and, you know, our daughter who graduated with Morris wants to live there, and I keep telling her, where am I going? But, you know, she does want to come back here.
Well, your
and
daughter's the
I
great Ashley Bailey.
Yes, she is, the one who
That's
picked
right,
to
that's the girl.
reorganize the
that
museum,
When we
yes.
gutted the museum and put everything in the storage pods, she's the one that set it back up
Yeah,
down
she
there.
would do
She did
that.
a great
She loves
job.
old things.
Yeah.
That's why she likes our house and our fun.
It was
She likes
Chicketti's farm, right? Is that?
Yes,
Yeah.
Chickadee, and we're the second people to live there that weren't related to each other, out of everybody that's lived there. So, yes, but we love it, absolutely. So, we just want to make sure you guys know all about it. And
We do, and let's
We're very
keep
excited,
contact
we're very
and
excited
try
to
not to
working
bang
together.
into things, you
Yeah.
know,
If there's
unintentionally.
anything we can help you with, contact Nancy, and if there's anything we can do, we'll
And then
certainly take a look at it.
Where could I find I see the community thinking flyers
There
over
should
there.
be some
And
sort of.
likewise, if there's anything you want, you know, to tell us or think about or whatever, please do that.
That we don't know, absolutely.
Well, like I said, if you're gonna form an association, whatever, like you said, you're gonna have to think about bylaws, you're gonna have to think about who's running the money, who's doing.
Right.
Yes.
So there's a lot to be said, you just can't call yourself something.
Right.
And meet and take money, and
Well,
you're
that,
gonna have to set up some kind of organization
yeah,
chart. and-
We know that.
Yeah.
that
This is
part,
kind of just happening, but.
yeah, and I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I want to make sure, I'm hoping, I think after we do the community festival to like reassess and really like talk about that together, like
Correct.
taking those next
Mhm.
steps. And then also, because like you said, like there's been organizations that come throughout the years and they don't last, so that's kind of been, like now I think it is giving me a lot to think about for after this meeting is like, you know, if we really get this started, how can we build it so it's gonna be something that
Well, I
lasts?
think the entrepreneurial spirit of what you guys are doing versus, these aren't old-time farms that did farming the old, you guys are like second generation or new people getting into the farming business
True.
who have put a new spark into it, like, hell, 20 years ago, nobody was growing hops around here. And, you know, the first time I went by your place, I'm going, what the hell's that? What is that? And,
Not holding.
yeah, and there's another guy on Chamberlain off of Munn that's doing the same thing, so we're seeing different, but you bring a different kind of new spirit, young spirit to farming and agriculture and everything else you're doing, so. I'm gonna leave you my card, not my trustee's card, my other business
Awesome,
card, but
thank you.
I'd like to be a part of this, but like I said, as a trustee,
Yeah.
I'd rather be a silent person and not get involved in
Yeah.
things because of conflict of interest, but
Exactly.
I really support that,
Thank you.
and I won't always be a trustee, and
Yeah.
I'd like to be more active.
Can I comment on your flyer?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Thorpe Road,
Mhm.
not Road.
Just
Oh,
don't-
is there a
Oh,
typo?
is it a typo? Oh, no.
thank you.
That's
That's one
Okay.
thing I can't get them to do is have somebody proofread.
And also, why do you have Chagrin Falls, Ohio, and not Auburn Township? Addresses.
Because so that's something that I've thought about even in our advertising, just in our own business, because it's like when you get some order on Amazon, you get some delivered to your house. It's like when I put in, I think it's gotten better, but like I remember when I was in like one of the first times I ever ordered anything on Amazon, I put in Auburn, Ohio on the address, and then it didn't. get to the house.
It automatically,
Yes.
sometimes with these companies, print out, they'll say, no, this is Chagrin Falls.
Because we have our own
So,
post,
yeah.
I mean, we
I
have our
know.
own zip
I know,
code.
I use it, but not
It's gotta be
everybody will
Auburn
use it.
Township or
Auburn
Auburn
I prefer to
TWP,
use it as
because there is a
Yeah.
city of Auburn in Ohio, which,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and we
same
just did that as for like when people are typing in their GPS to make sure that it gets them to the right
I
place.
think it's a good idea to do it that way. This board, Gene was on it, has some experience with that. There was the Judson project that ended up down there. You were pursuing it out here.
Well, they wanted a Chagrin Falls
There
address.
you go, that's what
it
I'm
was all
saying.
about.
That's what they wanted, was that Chagrin Falls address. And
Yeah.
at the time, we didn't have that post office out here.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, put the Chagrin Falls stamp on it at the start, okay? And then
Yeah.
I'd like to
Or in parentheses.
I think that we're Auburn Township out here, you know, but yeah, it's.
I would much rather it be Auburn Township on there, we just.
well,
put
again,
the official
legally,
addresses.
for the post office, Chagrin Falls,
Yeah,
Auburn Township, Auburn TWP.
Bainbridge Township.
yeah,
I don't even think Bainbridge made the cut on that one. Terminology wise, and you'd have to look at how they wrote it up for the 44023.
yeah.
But yeah, you can legally put down Auburn TWP
Township.
or Auburn Township.
Auburn TWP.
And that is,
Can we
Fine.
find out what that is?
What's your comment there, Carl?
To echo what you're saying about Chagrin Falls and Auburn Township and Bainbridge and South Russell and whatever, always use your zip code on everything that you send or you want to receive, because what Mike is talking about is where some of my mail went until I found out there's a difference between Auburn and Auburn Township.
Okay.
And a lot of the big corporations know about Auburn, Ohio, and they have their own zip code. So make sure you use your zip code
Yes.
and
yeah.
along with Auburn Township. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for hearing us, we really appreciate it. Hopefully you'll visit some of us, and hopefully we can get a table together for the 16th. I think that'd be
Oh,
a
we'd love to
good
have
idea.
that.
It'd be great.
We'd love to
Do we
have
have to
that.
reserve it?
Call Nancy and tell her you're gonna have a table or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, I said, and it'd be a good opportunity to, like I said, right off the bat, meet a lot of people really
Yes.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
that was
idea.
great. And we can hand out flyers and talk about it. I'm definitely happy to, wait, yeah, is it an all-day thing? Or
Probably go-
What do we do, 11 to 4 or something, I think, or something?
10 to 4.
We get people
10 to-
there.
10 to 5.
People there in
10 to 5.
in shifts. 10 to 4.
Their flyers out in our business. So we need to get some of their flyers.
When do you harvest hops?
Actually, we're getting ready to, we send it out to a lab for analytics to make sure that they meet all the right criteria. We're harvesting some on Wednesday that we're taking to Thirsty Dog in Akron, and they're making a fresh hop with, fresh beer with, and we're harvesting 2 varieties this weekend, and we're taking some to a brewery in Athens on Monday. And,
Which one happens?
Little Fish.
Oh, awesome. I
Mhm.
love Bluefish.
And, yeah, so we're
Would
starting.
you be able to have some breweries in Auburn?
We will be. Not everybody does fresh hops, but honestly, right, like I just,
How do you harvest to the top of those poles? You have a
so
special
we
machine?
cut the bottom, cut the top, and we have it's a harvester, it's kind of like a mini combine. And we put, it's the whole vine, the whole string, it's 20 feet long.
So you pull it down?
Put it on there, and then it gets pulled into the harvester, it's got teeth. The cones come off, which are the flour, the cones come off on a conveyor belt, and everything else comes out in front. So it picks all the cones off for us, which is a wonderful thing. Yes,
That's
and then we dry them, and then we get them pelletized, and then we sell them as pellets.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We sell about 6, I'm in 6 breweries right now with our honey, and I said I wish I had become a stainless steel salesman, because I've never seen so much stainless steel in my
Very
life.
true, very true. We met wonderful people, and the 4 in, well, the 3 in Auburn, I should say, the 4 on Washington Street. They're very wonderful people, so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming up.
Very enlightening.
I,
Hope you have a lot of success.
We've,
Thanks.
we've worked minimally with your group, through that, over the time, and everything, I think, fell into place.
Yeah, it seems to all be coming along
And,
really nice.
It's kind of exciting where it's going, so. Stay in touch, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. We'll move on. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All
We'll
right.
put these out on our.
Yeah.
Any more?
Yeah, I'll take a few more.
If you get a bunch of those, you can put them on my table at the fair.
Cool.
If that
Oh,
interests you.
right,
Yeah, when did?
okay. Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing any honey at the fair.
There was a guy from Willoughby many years ago, but he passed away, but I think I'm the first Geauga County beekeeper. So we're excited.
Are you in the agriculture building or?
I wish, I begged, and they go, no, you're a vendor. I'm on the midway two, halfway down, so, yeah. I tried to talk them into putting me, you know where the office is?
Mhm.
Those two little buildings that you could just burn down because nobody looked at. I said, if you let me go right there. They said, yeah, not gonna happen.
We're gonna have a.
Some people are just
also-
uncooperative.
I know. I like to push the envelope and just.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if you get me some of those flyers, I'll be happy to pass those out.
Cool.
If
Yeah,
we're gonna be there, and then we'll have flyers for Lake Farm Park.
I'll make
Their
sure
big
to,
thing the
I'll
next
make sure to get some
couple
from Gina, and I have your phone number
Absolutely.
now, so I'll give you a call or send you a text.
Let's do that.
Awesome.
Okay, we gotta move on to
Okay.
the meeting.
Okay.
All right.
We do schedule reports, on the third meeting, or the second meeting of the month is Chief John Phillips from the Volunteer Fire Company.
Thank you, PJ. Report of calls from January 1st to the end of July. EMS calls, we had 309. Last year at this time, we had 276. Fire calls, we had 228. Last year was 209. Total calls is 537 this year. Last year is 485. Rough on calls. Mutual aid given is 112. Last year was 131. Mutual aid received is 38, last year was 28. Total transports was 216, last year was 203. Total non-transports is 125, last year was 85. Total transfer to another agency, 0, last year was 4. Total patients was 341, last year was 292. Our percentage of multiple calls is 25.69. Last year is 20.2. We had a total of 43 double transport, or double calls, 10 triple calls, 1 quadruple, 1 sextuplet, I'm sorry, 2 sextuplets. A total of 57. Any questions on the report?
Not on the report, but I have a question. I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but is there gonna be fire service posted at football games this year?
We've been working with Bainbridge Fire on that and worked up a plan between, they're not gonna have any of their people there, football game, but UH is gonna fill in for them with their squad. We're gonna be taking care of 2 games. So they got 3, we got 2.
Yeah, because David Parker, he contacted me with the issue, and I guess the main thing is with the levy not passing in Bainbridge, they had full-time staffing with 6 people, and now they're down to 4.
Right.
And so they said, well, we can't cover the games, and they didn't show up at the fireworks either.
No, we
So-
covered for them on the
So
fireworks.
we covered on the fireworks,
Wow.
and so,
Okay, not that that's political or anything, but they haven't taken any cut in funding whatsoever.
None.
At this point in time, none. So, I guess that's how
but
the
anyway,
game's played.
so I got that information from Nancy, I called the chief, and chief took care of everything, and came back with the good news that between, and you got through UH because the physician that's on,
Physician on the football team had very caring about the whole issue, rightfully so. And we talked to UH about it, UH said they'd fill in.
so, Between the two of us, we should be okay then.
It's not just the kids on the football field and, you know, and the threat of injury from a football game. You got a big crowd of people, and that's where things happen, you know, so.
Well, it used to be it was mandated that you had to have a squad there, and I think they changed that rule since then.
Yeah, it's not required.
But I think it's smart to have a squad there, you know, just by the nature of the game.
Well, it's
We're not
gonna be
doing it
the,
because it's required, we're doing it because it's the right thing to do.
yeah, it's the biggest crowd of people in the two townships on every other Friday night, or however, I mean, you know.
They had a good
So-
police presence there Friday.
Yeah, and the first, we'll be there the 1st, and I think it's the 6th of October. First is First Responders Recognition Day, and also we're gonna be at the homecoming game in the parade.
First and the 6th.
Yes.
Well, thank you, I think that's a good response. Anybody else with any questions for fire-related issues? Anybody? All right, well, thank you, Chief. So we'll move on to some trustee reports, and we'll start far end with Mike Troy.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna go over that, but since you took my thunder on that. But I do want to thank the fire department also for sending vehicles to the
DTJ.
DTJ parade. Couldn't believe how many people were there when I pulled in. That whole big parking area, I don't know if you've ever been in there, the grassy area, I mean, it's just filled. And again, the parade isn't all that long, but it's nice to have some showing from the township there.
Yeah, we always try to be there, but I can't always guarantee it for them because a lot of times we get calls.
And, well, again, it's anything that's on a weekend, it's hard to get staffing as it is, let alone.
Right.
And plus, you know, if you're in the middle of a parade, kind of hard to sneak out of there, but you did okay. And, yeah, that was all I really had.
Here's a kind of a issue I ran into today. I'm on 87 going to Middlefield. They're working on the road, so half the route's closed. You know, the two guys are standing there with slow and stop. My lane goes, and an ambulance starts coming from the other way.
Get off to wherever you can get off.
Yeah, I had to pull into the ditch so that he could get through. Interesting, I never saw that happen before.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough issue, but most people try to work their way around it, and
Yeah.
we get through it somehow.
Okay.
What do you got,
Are
Jake?
you done? I just have one thing. The stone huggers are moving in either tonight or tomorrow morning. We're gonna start on the cemetery. They have 40 stones already picked out that we're gonna start with. We're gonna see what those 40 come to, because like we said, we're willing to spend $25,000 this year on it, so that whole thing will start tomorrow morning. They just finished up in, I believe, Chesterland, and so they're making their way. We got water to them, and we're ready to go.
How long do they anticipate that?
That's hard to say. Could be a couple weeks, could be.
Gee, what is a stone?
It's a group out of, where is it, Indiana, who help reset some of the old stones, the cemetery stones, and straighten them up,
Fix the footers.
fix the footers and everything. You know, we used to have that done locally, and they don't do it anymore, so it's hard to find somebody that'll come and do that. And, you know, we've got some that are leaning, some from the Civil War, some from, you know, the 1800s that need to be fixed up and straightened, and so we try to keep up on that. And we had them here once before, I think, didn't we?
Stonehugger? I don't
Stonehugger?
believe
No,
so.
was it?
No.
Well,
We
I
had
think it was
Sh-
another operation.
It was another operation.
Shetler did some work
Yeah,
10
I
years
thought we
ago,
had-
but then
That was the one we were,
That guy from
one of
Berkeley.
what we were trying
Yeah.
to get.
Right.
that was just a cleaner.
Right.
That was just doing
Yeah.
cleaning. This is actually.
So this is actually
some
gonna
big
do
labor.
some work, and so, like I said, after they get these 40 done, we'll see how many pennies we got left, if we can do a few more, or
Are they
whatever.
doing both cemeteries or just one?
We're gonna do both.
Yeah.
We actually broke this down into a 3-year program, because we were left a very generous donation from the Auburn Community Church, was to be used only for the cemetery or the museum, so we're using that money to straighten up some of these older stones and fix them up.
Yeah. that
That's
was-
all I have.
Okay. I We have a check here. Did we get a letter from the engineer's office, okay to pay? Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so that covers that. That's on the asphalt resurfacing. I drove those, I don't know if you guys heard, there was lots of complaining initially about the asphalt overlays for the driveway approaches, and I don't know, it kind of was a little inflagration that came and went. I don't see any problem.
How was
Anybody
yours,
else
Dan?
drive
How
them?
was yours?
Mine looks great.
That's, that frosted looked great. I
Longview Trail, I don't think there's any issue.
no.
Had one guy cut out his own concrete, filled it with gravel, and rented a camper, but.
We're kind of gonna try to address this, because the fact of the matter is, some of these concrete drives that go out into the right of way are not on private property, they're on township property. So, at some point, we wanna make clear that if you intend to improve somebody else's property, you're doing it at your own risk. We've had this before, concrete driveways going out into what at the time were gravel roads. And we had a chunk of, you remember this, that was on Frank's Road?
Yeah.
We had concrete removed there because there was a problem maintaining that road, plowing it. And this is the same principle, but I don't know, if it was me paying for a concrete driveway, I'd stop at the end of my property line, I wouldn't go out into the road.
It's like mailboxes. How come
It
they
is.
always knock down the $400
It is,
mailbox
yeah.
and not the $26 issued one?
But I can tell you, Emmerich was kind of rattled by the volume of calls that he took, but I think they were kind of driven by the developer.
I do know the mailbox, no one knew they were gonna come down and replace mailboxes. After they got all finished, they started going down our street, and then, man, you should have seen the neighbors come out, "You're not touching my mailbox." I don't know what criteria they used, but I know there's a certain height they have to be.
Yeah.
Well, like Bob Phillips was the engineer, he always used to say, why would you put a $400 mailbox on a piece of property that's not yours?
Same with the
Well,
driveway.
the guy across the street works for the works for the electric company.
Yeah.
He's got a telephone pole down into the ground as his mailbox.
You gotta be careful, if somebody hits that thing and kills themselves, you're liable for it.
Yeah, isn't there a law?
You gotta have a breakaway,
Four by
yeah.
four. You can't have anything bigger than a 4x4.
Oh, that thing.
And a couple of them on my street, they're like 2 foot by 2 foot brick enclosures.
It's like
Pretty
cutting
impressive.
down trees in the road. That's the worst
file
thing
it
for
myself.
trustees, because you get standing room only when you start telling people you're cutting down trees. And they go, that tree's been there for 100 years. Well, it should have been cut down 99 years ago, but nobody did. And we had a hard time with that until finally we came up with a solution. We said, no, we won't cut that tree down as long as you'll sign an affidavit that says if someone kills themselves hitting that tree, your homeowner's insurance will take care of it. Then we had no more problems with trees. So.
And with the power outage lately, people have paid more attention to taking
Yeah.
bad trees down, which is a good thing. All right, so you
DJ?
send a check, yeah.
You mentioned a moment ago about looking for a piece of paper or something from, I think, the engineer's office. If you look down on the floor underneath your right foot,
That is my old set of minutes. So when I'm done with them, I throw them down there, try to remember to pick them up on the way.
Thank you, Carl. That was a good
Thanks,
call
Carl.
That's
because
why we like you guys.
See, we want this shield here so we can come up here and not have to wear pants anymore. But look at you, finding those papers on the floor, so.
I'm gonna have to start wearing socks.
well, when snow starts flying.
Okay, the other contractor moving into town tomorrow is the crack seal company that we hired out of down near Columbus area, I think it was Urbana or something. So they're gonna be starting too, so your subdivision roads, see people out there squirting asphalt on the road, that's what's going on there. We're doing our crack seal program, doing the whole thing this year too, we didn't edit it at all. That's all I have, what do you got, Dan?
All right, just to start, I like to, I don't know if you saw on your payment listing, kudos to Nancy. We were going, Emmerich was trying to get volleyball, or beach sand put in the volleyball courts, and for whatever reason, Best Sand wouldn't get back to us. They gave us an estimate, but we couldn't get an invoice, they wanted payment before they would deliver it. He tried calling the sales rep down there, she wouldn't return his calls. And they wanted $7,000 for 40 tons of sand. Nancy found Nordonia Landscape Supplies, $1,520.
What's this for?
Volleyball
The
courts.
volleyball courts up by them.
How about the pickleball courts? How are those coming?
When we learn to play pickleball on sand, they'll have it made.
So,
Good.
so that's done. Asphalt, we talked about that.
$200 a ton you wanted for sand?
Yeah.
I was kidding about the pickleball courts, we don't have pickleball courts.
Today was our budget hearing. Budget was approved by the county. There weren't any issues. No, you can tell them, Diane. If
You would,
watch it.
Diane.
Tell them how they found it. Dan did a great
Well,
job.
actually, if any of you have the time and the information, the auditor's office, if you contact them, they will, they can extend you an invitation to watch these public hearings, and many of them are Board of Revision hearings, and in any event, all 16 townships and a couple of agencies their budgets for 2024-25 were heard today, and certainly not all the entities got as many kudos as Dan. And
Way to
so
go, Dan.
Thank you.
Really,
Good
really,
job, Dan.
well earned it, and the implication was just that there were some townships in this county that they don't keep track of things, and believe me, if they don't, the Budget Commission will. They do keep records. And from time to time, one or two of those individuals do remind of previous faults, which is not necessarily the issue, but Dan walked in there all by himself today, and he was 16, no, you were 17, and there was one more. There was a soil and water district. But Dan walked in all by himself, and he received accolades for, quote, cleaning up that mess and doing it in such a short time. And he could have been pretty, what's the opposite of humble? Pretty, bragging about it. Instead, he gave credit to other people who were willing to offer help to him along the way. So it was a good experience, and he received the award for having Auburn Township received the award for having the most improved budget ever. So it was quite nice to watch.
And the best part about that is, I know there were times I came up here and saw Dan working in there, and I knew he thought maybe he had bit off more than he could chew, because we were in a hole and we were left with some really serious things.
Yeah.
But he stuck with it and they got it done. So yeah, we're all very proud of him.
Very, very proud. In fact,
You're not getting any more money, but we are.
right. Auditor Walters said, Dan, you must have worked every hour, every day.
He was here burning the midnight hour a lot.
Yeah, yeah, and so,
It's amazing how it turned out, because his first week, I think, he was pretty much in the, what have I gotten myself into mode.
Yeah.
yeah, well.
It was a lot.
Good job, very good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. The only problem was, that some of us who were waiting to zip in and out, like the folks who watched the Chester budget and then, zipped out. You walked in there at 2 o'clock, and some of us had been watching quite a while, trying to get a handle on everything, and so, yeah, it was a long day, kind of watching, but thank you, appreciated it.
Okay. I don't know if you know, the township has 3 accounts. We've got our main checking account with Middlefield, we have our Star Ohio account, And we got this little First National Bank account that has $6,334.84 in it. And every month, we get hit with a dormant fee because it's not being used.
Why do we have that?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. So we got a letter from First National saying that the state Commonwealth of Ohio requires us to notify you that your unclaimed abandoned property may be transferred to the state Commonwealth if you do not contact us within 60 days from the date of this letter.
Take it out and put it in the middle field, we don't need that.
Well, that's what I wanted to find out.
Do you guys have any idea why we have that?
Nope, but
I have a suspicion. How long?
I think it was a money market account. It's been there many years.
Well, Denny used to do a lot of that. Denny did a lot of that. I think Susan did. The other thing, and you and I talked about it, remember we had Ladies Cemetery Auxiliary, another community group that folded up 70s or 80s, left us a fair amount of money for a cemetery bequest fund. Remember that, Jim?
I don't.
You know? Yeah, it was.
just transferring.
Yeah, So I'm just wondering what the
All right,
origin.
well, I'll
of this
find out
whole
what I
thing.
have to do. I might need, because I'm not a signer on the account, so we may have to,
Yeah.
I'll have to
See what we
check
have
that
to do,
out.
transfer it to middle field and get rid of it.
Okay. And then, for our Star Ohio account, they require a authorized signer certification form, and they need at least 2 authorized signers. One being myself, and I'm thinking one would be
One should be the chairman.
Chairman, yeah.
And then, so this part out, sign here. Is Nancy still a notary? Is she a notary?
Yes.
I believe so,
She can
yes.
notarize it then.
Okay.
Would that change every time the chairman is, so you've got to change every year?
Yeah.
I don't know, how long has it been since we updated the signature cards? We had a little experience up at
Middlefield.
Middlefield Bank with signature cards when Dan first started here too, so.
Do we need a vote on transferring that money out of the first?
I think it'd be a good idea.
Who wants to make a motion?
Motion to transfer the money invested in the First National Bank with the township accounts with Middlefield Bank.
I'll second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
okay, and then you can sign that whenever, I'll
Yeah.
get Nancy, but, what else? I'm done.
With that engineer's letter.
I thought we had some resolutions.
Well, we do, they're on the new business.
That's part of
Oh, okay.
the new business.
Okay, we already signed a check here, but we knew this was coming, and they've, the aforementioned resurfacing project. Recommend payment to Colbert Contractors in the amount of $415,381.93. And we used to always do that by motion as well, too, after that letter came from the engineer.
So moved.
Second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Okay, this is, I guess, qualifies as old business, because we've been talking about it for a while, but we mentioned earlier with everyone that was here from the Arts Association, that we're doing our community picnic and the Junk in the Trunk Fest, September 16th at Auburn Community Park.
Go in there.
She's had some contact already, some ads ran in local newspapers over the weekend. And I know one thing she wants to do is purchase some more banners for advertising, because these are
Well, she got
Looks
some
like she
today.
already
She
did.
get those already?
See, there's one hanging over
Okay,
there.
all right. Okay,
I think she got 10 of them today.
good. Yeah, the other ones were dated, and we've been using them for 4 or 5 years now, no longer. So. Reschedule Monday, the Labor Day must be on September 4th this year then.
Right.
What's good for everybody?
I'd say we just have it on the 5th.
Yeah.
You good? All right. All right, motion to hold the first meeting in September on the 5th, 7:30.
I'll second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
We've been contacted by some residents, Taylor May Road residents, concerns about our 45-mile-an-hour speed limit over there. I've talked to one lady over there and told her that the last time we asked for a speed survey was for Shaw Road, and what we had set for 40, the engineer came back and recommended after they did their study and their traffic count, that road should be 50. So we took the signs down, it's actually 55 now, because it was gonna be 50, 55. I told her there's a possibility of that happening, although her concern was, and I think it's legitimate lately, is with all the construction on East Washington, a lot of people have found Stafford and Taylor May to be pretty convenient to cut through. Right now, that's 45. The area of concern was Ravenna Road to Auburn Road due to all the hills.
There's some hidden driveways there too.
Hidden driveways. I don't anticipate it getting lowered. I mean, the resident brought up a comparison being Bell Road through South Russell. I said, well, it's a village, we can't do anything like that. And the engineer has not guaranteed any timeline on this at all, being there's some staffing issues up there. But Emmerich and I have been working on it, and we'd like to put in a request for that to be.
Well, as long as she understands, like you told her,
Yeah.
it could go up
It
higher
could
when
go
she's
up.
done.
That's, and it's
That's a
very
You know,
much-
it's like, you remember
That's a
the,
motion, I'll second it.
Yeah.
you remember the lady that came in from Lucky Hill?
Oh, yeah.
And said there was people speeding and she wanted a police officer to
Sue
sit there?
Elishak, she was
The
in she
first
called me
person that was
every
picked
week.
up speeding was
daughter.
her.
That was her daughter. Yeah.
Oh, my.
She got the first ticket.
Yep, I remember that well. She called me every week.
Karma at its finest.
Yeah.
Is there a speed limit for township roads? I mean,
The only thing we can set arbitrarily at this board is in a subdivision.
okay.
And we can set that as low as 25, and that's what we do. Every other road, every through road, it's got to go through
55.
through the engineer's office. Yeah.
I always thought it was 45 for a township.
We can't, well, if the engineer says we can do it, we can do it, but.
I think for trucks on one, it's 80, isn't it? That's what I see going by my house.
Well, the other thing that we explained to this couple too was that when this speed study is being conducted, the speed limit signs come down, and it goes to 55 for that degree. So,
Sometimes you gotta be careful what you wish.
yeah, that's the way it works, and, well, if there's anything you can do, and I said, well, that's what we can do, so. Mike, I made that motion then that we
I'll second.
conduct that.
I think Mike already seconded
He
it.
did.
You can third it.
I third it.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Okay, no guarantee of results there. Do we have that letter too?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay. It's here.
PJ,
Yeah.
just thought about that too. Back when we redid Stafford Road, Emmerich had said that we were getting a speed clock sign from Bainbridge Township. Did that ever happen?
We're looking into those off and on. They're not enforceable. They're kind of
Just,
for entertainment purposes only.
What's the one on Bartholomew? Up where across from May's house, old May.
There's a speed.
There's a thing that lights up that tells you how fast you're going.
The sheriff must have.
It's been there forever, right? Yeah.
Must be the sheriff did that.
I don't know who has that.
Burton Village has them. One of Burton's I don't know what his title is, but he's an Auburn resident. And he's supposed to be getting back to us on one of those too, because the village has those up all the time.
Yeah,
I
right
just
up by
remember
Preston.
Emmerich had talked about Bainbridge was getting rid of one and, well, portable one.
That was the
We
trailer.
were supposed to get one, get that from them or something, and just wondered if we ever did.
This fellow that works for Burton Village up there, he's an Auburn resident, he says, you gotta be careful with those because you put them out there and, yeah, ideally you see that you're going 41 and a 35, so you slow down. But there's also 18-year-old kids that wanna see how fast they can get that sign up, you know, that up too. So you kinda gotta reset that, you know.
You can always roll over and flash, that's the goal.
We're looking into one, we're not sure what we're gonna do with it once we get it, you know.
So the one from Bainbridge didn't happen?
That did not happen, that did not happen, that was a few years ago.
Oh, yeah,
Did not happen.
back when Stafford Road was
Yeah,
done.
that didn't happen. We got an ARPA resolution, because the generator is finally installed at Adam Hall, which is a good thing. Okay, this is a requirement in order to spend American Rescue Plan Act money from 2021. We've read this in its entirety a couple times, so I'm not gonna do that tonight. But it's safe to say that after the first 3 pages of letters of make work, this is for the purchase and installation of generator at Adam Hall Community Center. Township elected to use the standard allowance by way of resolution 22 tonight.
Actual signature turn.
And it's a presumption of revenue
switch.
loss due to the public health emergency and to use the amount authorized herein to fund government services. Project is hereby authorized and shall be paid for from the ARPA funds in the amount of not to exceed $40,734.90. The project described herein serves the objectives of the Act by providing services traditionally provided by government, namely parks and recreational facilities and programs. Is that correct, Dan?
Say that again? Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's a recreation.
Yeah, it would fit, yeah. It's not exactly public infrastructure, but, yeah, this has been cleared with the prosecutor's office already, that this is a applicable expenditure.
How much ARP money do we have left?
Well, after that,
25?
23,000.
That's not enough for pickleball.
Well, don't forget that the surprise we got is we intended to fund
The
with the
truck.
finance of the rest of
Yeah,
that
I
truck.
know,
And we found out they
I
wouldn't
know.
let us.
If we didn't have ARPA funds, what would we have done?
That we'd have had a problem. Yes, we would.
I was thinking if we get the NOPEC money, it should be like 15.9. We put that with the remainder of the ARPA money, we can get a generator at the road garage. 'Cause that one there is basically, we got that secondhand from the
Yeah, we've had some
fire
problems
station.
with that.
Generator pickleball course. Generator pickleball course.
Anything the generator to have lights on the pickleball court.
Do we have a motion for that?
Yeah,
You just play pickleball on the helipad.
Right.
okay, so I read the important part of the resolution here, so I'm gonna make a motion to adopt 2023-28.
So moved.
Second,
Oh, So G made the motion.
I guess.
you made the motion, and Gene made the second motion.
I
So
can
whichever
third-
one
I
of
can
them made the
third it.
motion, I seconded
I can
it.
third it again.
Yeah,
Make it easy.
no, I'm just gonna say anything, let you guys do it. If you need me, call me.
All right, and so since that allows us to use ARPA money, we didn't have money appropriated for that, so, Resolution 2023-29 for supplemental appropriations, Board of Trustees, Auburn Township, regular session. on 21st day of August 2023. Move for the adoption of the following resolution. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, necessary to adopt the following $40,734.90 supplemental appropriation to the ARPA fund account 2273760-40 for machinery, equipment, and furniture, Adam Hall Community Center generator purchase and installation. Motion?
That's a resolution. Okay, motion to adopt 2023-29.
Second.
DJ,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Didn't fill in any of them.
I'll do that. Okay?
Did we sign this one too?
No. And then one last thing I have, Nancy, they're gonna, Geauga County, is having a fair booth up there somewhere,
The Township Association.
Township Association, and they've asked the townships to put together a flyer, so Nancy kind of revamped the one we had, and I think she ordered about 500 copies to distribute up at the fair and at the picnic. So I think that's a sample of it. Pretty much identifies all our facilities. There's a list of annual events.
What time will PJ be sitting at the booth?
I haven't signed up yet.
You haven't? What about you, Mike? When will you be sitting up at the booth?
I'll help you sell honey?
No, at the county association.
I'm busy that day.
I would, but it's all on you, Dan. Make us proud once again.
All right, that's it for me. And the new business, I think.
Okay, that's about in the agenda too, so, our next meeting, we just reset for the 5th. We got the commission up here later this week. Picnic next month. Any questions, any comments on anything tonight? Could ever put the clam bake on the agenda here, too.
Yeah, I think you should do it next meeting probably.
That's
I
it?
haven't received your phone call order for the picnic yet.
What's that now?
I haven't received your phone call order for the picnic yet.
Well, I just found out what day it is, so that's probably important.
If you're looking for a motion, PJ, I'll make a motion.
I guess we're there. Okay, I think that's a motion to adjourn, I'll second.
Okay.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, everybody. See you at the fair. Well, you'll see Gene at the fair.
You'll see me, you'll see PJ too.
I work at gate 1, I expect to see all of them at the fair. I get 10,000 people through that gate a day. I should see all
I
of
got
them.
15 free tickets today,
Yeah,
plus
when did
five for entry. I'm set. Well,
When do we exhibit?
Good to see you.
Wednesday.
15 free tickets.
Oh, yes, but the office is open every day.
Yeah.
All fair, 11 more.
You can
get 15 free tickets.
You could sit in the office.
Well, I heard the number 15.
What are you laughing at?
You look good.
I get yelled at when I asked for free tickets for somebody working there.
There you go. Sign them up.
Sometimes in life, things are just not fair. I just blow it
You
off.
take your horses to
Because I know about free tickets like that, so I don't mind
Good to see you.
asking for free tickets for my workers. Well, whatever is available, latch on to it. Excuse me, please.